Hey everybody, it is Prince's Friend, and I am back with a second review for the week. This one is for Childish Gambino's Awaken My Love. It was released on December 2nd of 2016, so, the tail end of last year. And I'm always excited when I hear that a new Childish Gambino album is about to drop. So I got myself ready. I was ready for some new flows and some cool beats. But what I got wasn't exactly what I was expecting. The first singles that were released, which were Me and Your Mama and Redbone, they were both mostly highlighting his ability to sing and his, accomplishments when it comes to arranging music and whatnot. But I didn't hear any rapping, so I was like, these are good tracks, but can't wait to get the album so I can hear some rapping. And then when the album finally came out, I realized, oh man, what he said on Because of the Internet, he was not kidding. He said that he was making a major change and he was going to make a new direction for himself and Childish Gambino in trying to reconcile what it means to be Donald Glover versus Childish Gambino, and that he's really kind of a mix of the two, and, what was his musical aspirations. And basically, as soon as I kind of got over myself, I ended up really enjoying the album. And even though Awaken My Love actually received generally positive reviews from critics, there's still a lot of different old Childish Gambino fans who were holdouts, who thought that the album was too drastically different and started forums to talk about it and petitions and all kinds of stupid stuff. They just really didn't like the new direction because they wanted him to basically do everything that he had already done, and he wanted to do something new. And you know what? I applaud that. And so did the critics, because Awaken My Love ended up hitting number 4 on the UK R&B charts, number 5 on the US Top 200, and number 2 on the US Top R&B hip-hop albums. So, to sum it up, instead of the hip-hop approach, he instead grabs inspiration from the 60s and 70s and really puts a real R&B funk display on for everybody. Let's go through the tracks so that you can listen for yourself, and I think you're really gonna like it.
So let me get to you.
So when I hit play on my computer, the album came in and it started with a low melodic, kind of thing, and I was like, okay, I'm in for a treat. I'm in love when we are smoking the la la la. That's really catchy. And then the main song comes in and it just brings the house down. It's already so very different from everything we know of Childish Gambino that it threw me off for a sec, but I recovered quickly because I think the track is really that strong. I don't think any of the rest of the tracks on the album could have conveyed this new direction better than Me and Your Mama. The song itself is about a relationship on the rocks, but they're really trying to keep it together, mostly for the kids, and you can hear the struggle in his voice as he's kind of, screeching and saying, no, we need to stay together. It was the first single that was released. It hit number 6 on the Hot 100 and number 28 on the R&B and hip-hop songs charts. So, damn good song.
Have some time for one another, really love one another. It's so hard to find. Have a word for your brother. Have some time for one another, really love one another. It's all
So Have Some Love comes in, and it's kind of reminiscent of some stuff that P-Funk would do back in the day. Mostly because it's not just him singing, it's like a chorus of people singing it, and it feels really kind of funky, you could see, 20 people on stage all kind of singing this together. The message behind the song is pretty simple, and it's said plainly in the lyrics by the chanting, and it's calling for people to come together and be together in our humanity. And I think that it's cool that he decided to convey that message in kind of a funky way.
with the gun in your hand, I'm your Boogieman. I'm gonna come and get you. If you point a gun at my rising sun, though we're not the one.
So when I first heard the lyrics of Boogieman, they confused me at first. So, because the lyrics go, with a gun in your hand, I'm the Boogieman. So logically, it should be, if the gun is in your hand, then you're the Boogieman to me. But this song is actually about the injustice of killing so many black men and women at the hands of white people who are allowed to say that they feared for their lives or they were startled and they can basically get off scot-free. The fact that these people are getting off and there does seem to be a racial imbalance to judicial justice doesn't really help. And I like this song because it's kind of a reflection of this fear that's in the world and how ridiculous it is. This one is one of my favorites on the album.
All I see is zombies feeding all around us. All they eat are people. You won't survive. They don't know what happened. They just stay alive.
So Zombies is about how there are always people around you when you're successful, and each of them is looking to take their little bite off of you and take from you what they need. And I do like the song, though I don't know if I'm a fan of the auto-tunage that Childish Gambino's voice kind of goes through on this track. It's a little obvious as opposed to some of the other tracks where it's, you know, it's more organic. Carrie Fox does a bit of the background vocals, and I think it adds a little bit to it because she kind of whispers in like this little creepy voice in the background. So I think it's really good imagery on this song. So I like Riot, but it seems like it's taking kind of all of the elements on the album and kind of shoving them all together into a little box, turning it up to 11 and then kind of just letting it all out. The rest of the album sits comfortably at about a 7, so this one's like, ooh, way up there. I guess that honestly all of this was kind of the point, because it's almost like you're in the middle of a riot and it's chaotic and there's no real direction going on. So I think artistically it's great, but it's one of those that I often skip in my normal listens. It is the shortest track on the album, so that makes it not have that big of an impact. So I heard Redbone before the rest of the album. Again, it was the second single that was released before the album was even released. And it was in a big news article, and it was titled, "Prince's Legacy is Secure with the Release of Redbone." And I was like, what? I gotta listen to this. And I dig it, and I think it's funky, and it's faintly reminiscent of Prince, but I think people were just using the idea of Prince because he had recently passed away, just as like, you know, clickbait. The song itself is about fear and insecurity, kind of around infidelity in a relationship. I think musically it's on point, and Childish Gambino definitely stretches his falsetto as basically high as it could go. In an interview that I read, he said that there wasn't any vocalization on this, there was no auto-tunage or anything, he just sang it different. I find that pretty interesting. I would have guessed different. So it's a great track, it's full of R&B funk. It did reach number 13 on the top 100s and number 1 on the adult R&B charts. So good job.
She want to move to California. That's how they get you every time. She make a movie with her friends, put it up in a minute. Everybody saying now, ain't the loop at the minute.
So this song starts off with a groove that makes you think that you're kind of like feeling like you're in California. And Childish Gambino does some weird auto-tunage with his voice on this. It's kind of distracting when he sings the chorus. That said, I think the song is very interesting lyrically because he's kind of with a woman and she wants to move to California, and the lyric is basically, she must have lost her fucking mind. And then, basically the verses are all, this is wrong with California, this is wrong with California, what the hell are you thinking about? So I like this song, I don't love it, but I think it's stronger content-wise than it is musically.
Just you know that you're the one. Step back. Just
So Terrified was the first song where he kind of goes back to his regular singing voice. The groove is slow and it's smooth. It's really, really nice. The girl who wants to move to California basically has a hold on him, and he's terrified that she's the one for him, and he kind of has to chase her no matter where she goes. I think the hook is really good, and this is another one of my favorites on the album. I have a few of them.
Please don't take him away. Don't take him away.
So I'm a big fan of when musicians write songs to their kids personally. I'm a father, so I feel that. But this one is to Donald Glover's son, who was born in early 2016. And I like it because it's not really your typical, song to your kid. It's not like an I love you song. It's actually more of a, I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes with you, and I'm trying my best to be a good dad. And I think that the chorus of Don't Take My Baby Boy immediately spells out the fear that he feels of him one day messing up so bad that it could lead to him losing his son, and he would lose a large part of his heart. And the song itself is very heartbreaking, if you are listening to the lyrics and stuff, but I think it's super, super good. So, The Night Me and Your Mama Met is an instrumental, and it has some really interesting guitar licks and some harmonizing in the background. It's quite pleasant, actually, and it's supposed to give you the impression of meeting and falling in love, and I think it really does that well.
keep all your dreams, keep standing tall. If you are strong, you cannot fall. There is a voice inside us all, so smile.
So then we get to the finale, which is called Stand Tall, and again, this one uses Childish Gambino's real voice that I love. It doesn't have any auto-tuning, no vocalization, and you just get that here. It's such a strong voice that it seems weird. I wish it would have been more on the album besides just the 2 tracks. He sings bright and he sings it strong, and it's a darn good song. The first part of the song is all about advice that he had been given about standing strong and proud against the hardships in life, and it's really sweet. And then it kind of breaks down and says, but if you can't, somebody cares about you. It's basically saying, like, you need to stand tall and you need to never give up, but if you feel like giving up, realize that somebody loves you. It's an anti-suicide message, which I really, really love. All in all, this is how you end an album. It's epic, it's inspirational, and it's powerful. You listen now to my conclusion? I must have really lost my mind. So this album has given us ups and downs, funks and ballads, and we end on a half pleasant, half kind of creepy track that really leaves you feeling a little disturbed at the end. And I think that that's the point, because this album, in my opinion, is a reflection of what it's like today as black folk. And that's not really always something easily defined. Neither is this album. I think anyone who is into good music should get this album. There were those, obviously, who were weirded out by Childish Gambino making such a striking turn musically, but you should just get over yourself and buy the frickin' album. Like, imagine that it's somebody else entirely and just enjoy it for what it is, because it's really, really good. I would give this album 4.5 out of 5 because it's just so good. But what did you think of Awaken My Love? Let me know down in the comments and let me know what your favorite track was. While you're at it, don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Check out the Patreon at patreon.com/princessfriend. And may you live to see the dawn. Have a great one.